This is the Citrus County Planning and Development Commission public hearing for March 3rd, 2022. If you'd like to join us at this time, I invite you to please stand for the invocation and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Dear Lord, please give us the grace to be understanding, patient, and tolerant. With these attributes, we can conduct our work in a manner which will be pleasing to Thee, our county, and its residents. In the Lord's name, amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Madam Secretary, will you have the roll call, please?
Yes, sir. Good morning.
Good morning.
The following Planning and Development Commission members are present this morning. Robert Bass, Chair. Stacy Worthington, First Vice Chair. James Royce, Second Vice Chair. Richard Barnes, David Bramblett, Michael Facemeyer, Kurt Stone, and School Board Representative Chuck Dixon.
Thank you. If any person decides to appeal any decision made by the Commission with respect to any matter considered at this hearing, he or she will need a record of the proceedings, and for such purpose, he or she may need to ensure that a verbatim record of the proceeding is made, which record includes testimony and evidence upon which the appeal is to be based. During public input portions of the meeting, individuals are given 3 minutes, representatives of an organization are given 5 minutes. When anyone wishing to speak comes to the podium, please complete a yellow form to hand to the recording secretary. Please print your name, address, and the number of the application for which you are speaking on the form. The yellow forms can be found at the podium by the door. If representing an organization, a letter of authorization must accompany the speaker. Comments will be limited to the topic being heard. Please state your name, spell your last name, and give your address for the tape recording. At this time, it's an opportunity for the public to come forward and address the Commission on any issues that they may wish. Seeing none, we have no minutes to approve. Staff announcements.
Mr. Chairman, you'll have a chance on the application. Oh. Mr. Chairman, did you have anything you want to talk about before I go? Nothing? Any announcements for the...
Okay, so you said Mr. Chairman.
You did.
I said Mr. Sherman.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I
was
slurred
yes,
it.
ma'am.
I did a little southern slur. there.
Yes, ma'am. So, I just wanted, earlier this week I sent y'all an email that was about that the interchange management area websites are active on the growth management site. They come up and down, it seems like, and we're trying to get that fixed. But it's wanted y'all to take a look at that, and there's great opportunity for comments from the public and to interact. There's surveys on there and maps, information on the interchange management areas that have been established, 44 and Cardinal. So take a look at those. There's going to be one for 486, which is going to hopefully look and interact very similar to that one as well.
I did not receive an email from you for any links to.
Okay.
So if you could just.
I'll make sure that I'll send you one. I thought I'd included everybody.
I didn't get one either.
You didn't get one either?
I received it, but when I responded to join it, it went nowhere.
Yeah, like I said, we've been having some issues, so try and I'll send that out again, but go ahead and try and make that connection. So hopefully that's all been fixed, and I apologize if you did not get those links.
No problem.
Thank you, Mr. Sherman.
Thank you, Ms. Katu.
In the absence, I have no other staff announcements. In the absence of the county attorney, we'll go ahead and go ex parte communication. Any of you had any ex parte communication for the application on the agenda today? We'll start with Mr. Dixon.
No, ma'am. Site visit.
None.
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 None. Site visit.
Thank you. That's all.
Thank you. We'll have application V22-05 Bluestone Real Estate and Construction for Matthew Winger. If we could have a little presentation.
Yes, thank
you.
Not coming up.
It's telling me to restart the computer.
Well, do what you need to.
Sorry about that.
Sorry.
We'll be with you in just a second.
Tell
I mean, we have it in the back.
I told you you have to pray for me. Oh, that's, you know why.
We've all looked at this record.
While she's doing that, I'll go ahead and jump to the end of the agenda. What I'd tell you is next meeting, we do have the ordinance amendment for land development code for stormwater and waterfront setbacks. And then coming up in the second meeting of April, we also have another ordinance amendment that basically is more of a cleanup. We're having some issues with the special master hearings, trying to clarify some of the definitions in our code. So that tries to clean things up. So that'll come in about a month. How's it going, Vicki?
It won't even let me shut it down.
Well, yeah, I don't want you to shut down. Okay, do you have the notes page printed out at all for the PowerPoint? No. Okay, so, Joe, you want to summarize quickly? Oh, here's our expert. I didn't think you were in there.
While he's doing that, the ordinance amendment for the waterfront setbacks, what is that meeting going to be about? Is it going to be making suggestions? Are we going to get suggestions given to us? Is there?
It's
So,
Mr. Sherman's. Go ahead.
We've scheduled it for a land development code update. There'll be two components, waterfront setbacks and dealing with residential stormwater management. It's gonna be like, you know, any LDC proposal. It's endorsed by staff because it's coming from the county.
Yours is a hearing, and if you want to make it a workshop, we can stop and do that. We have 10
So
of
you
them.
guys are going to come to us with the suggestions?
It's in your packet in that thing you
Yes.
just got. Right,
Okay.
there's some draft language in there along with some comments we've got from some of the public.
Okay.
So it's all in there. This is a hearing, but if you want to have
Thank
more
you.
time and do it at a workshop, we can always do that.
Was any of the information taken from the last time
Yeah.
we went through this?
Actually, yes, it is. It's basically what you had before.
Okay.
What this board recommended in 2018 is in there. And then I think there's some suggestions from, of course, engineering or the stormwater stuff is new. But the waterfront setback stuff, you can see what this board recommended in 2018.
Okay.
Will there be someone here from engineering?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
It was that long ago? 4 years ago we did that?
2018, yeah. I know.
How time flies when you're having fun.
That's for sure. I have fun here every day.
I just do it for the fame and glory.
Thank you. That is technical. We're ready now. Sorry about
Yes.
that.
Thank you. Appreciate your patience. The applicant is requesting a single-family dwelling having a 22-foot setback to the center line of North Perkins Path. This is an aerial view of the subject property. The view of the subject property from North Perkins Path. Looking west on North Perkins Path. This is looking south on North Perkins Path. This is looking north on North Perkins Path. And this is the site plan as submitted by the applicant.
Thank you. If the applicant could come forward and make their presentation at this time.
Good morning, ladies
Morning.
and gentlemen. I first want to address something that you showed in the second to last picture, if I could. If you could, or I'm sorry, in the last picture.
This one?
No, ma'am. That one right there. There seems to be some confusion, I guess, with what North Perkins Path is. According to the property appraiser, the previous path shown is labeled as Perkins Path, and that is like an unlabeled road. The easement in question that we're asking for is the road on the previous pictures, not on this particular road, because that road, my understanding is that is it's not a recorded easement at all. So that's just that. My name is Michael DeMaria. I represent Matthew Winger. I work for Bluestone Construction, Real Estate and Construction. Today we are asking for a variance to reduce restrictive setbacks on the subject property here at North 10985 North Perkins Path. The purpose of this variance is to construct a home that will be hopefully the final house for the Winger family. They are looking to move here to Citrus County. There is currently a house on the property that's like a mobile home or a manufactured home that's been there for quite some time. Our plan, if approved, is to pull a permit to remove that current home there and then construct a single-family dwelling as well. We started this process in March 25th of 2021. We asked the Winger family to design a home that would suit their desires for this property, and that's when we found out that we have this large setback due to an easement that's on this property. It's a private easement on a private property, private road that goes out to this boat ramp, which is why we're here today, because I guess that brings up a lot of problems and questions and things like that. I want to be clear, we're not looking to eliminate this easement. We still want people to access this boat ramp, though it is not really used too much right now. We still want to give people, there's really only a set amount of people, very limited, who have access to this boat ramp through this private easement. We still want to give them the opportunity to use this, but we want to give the Winger family the opportunity to use their property as they see fit. So how that would work, why we call it very restrictive, is the property from the north property line to the south property line is only 120 feet wide or deep. There's a 5-foot setback on the northern property line, and then on the southern one there would be 5 feet, but because of this easement, it's 50 feet from the center line of the easement. That puts us at about, from that property line, puts us 65 feet in, so we only have about a 50-foot depth to build this house in. As you can see, the site plan kind of lays out the plan that we have. I know that the letter that went out to us says if we turn the house a certain way or we reconstructed the plans and totally changed the house, that it would work. Yes, we understand that that is the case, but if we turn the house here, it would not work. It would actually work out worse. And then changing the plan, we want to give the Winger property, that southern garage that juts out, has a garage door that goes out to the boat ramp, so the Winger family can access the boat ramp on their property as well. And that's the purpose of having the house situated in that way, and building the house, constructing the house that way. I also brought a copy of the plans if you guys would like to see that. I don't know if if that's pertinent or not. The site plan is sufficient, but if you wanted to see the plans, we're asking for very minimum to give access to this easement and the road as well, and also give them, like I said, the access to use their property. Right now, currently, there is Duke power lines that stretch to almost to the boat ramp, if not right there. We've talked to Duke, and they will remove those lines for us if this is approved, to make it more efficient to access power for the Winger family and for the properties to the north that are contiguous to this property as well. And that is our ask. We're asking for, rather than a 50-foot setback from the center line of this easement, we are asking for a 20 or 22-foot setback instead, which would keep the easement how it is. It would remain untouched. Thank you.
Welcome, thank you. Any questions from staff?
Yeah, just one. There's a lot more available building envelope to your west. Why are you staying away from that area and putting this kind of in the middle of the lot?
My understanding is that easement goes straight almost to the boat ramp. So the more dotted line shows that easement. I'm not sure the building envelope that you're referring to.
It's with the road. It's with the road coming in from the south, where Perkins Path is. You do have we'll show it on slides, but you do have more available envelope to the west. I just want to know if you're trying to avoid something in that area. Is there a large tree, or what your reasoning is for where you placed it?
Can I point on this?
Absolutely.
You
And
mind?
there should be a pointer there, but
Oh, this is a pointer?
Yeah, there is a pointer.
Okay.
It's a funky pointer. It makes a circle and instead of the normal, it should be on the, yeah, there you go.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, it's a funky pointer, like I said.
All right, let me try to.
So looking in that western area, is there something over there you're
So-
trying to avoid, or?
This right here is a detached structure. Right here is power that sticks out of the ground. We're trying to avoid that. There's a power line, I believe this is the last pole, and then there's a light somewhere around here, and there's power running to the house that connects to this. So there's all underground wiring here. There's a well house there, and there is a large tree as well that we're trying to avoid. Is that right, ma'am?
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Any other comments from staff? Any comments from the commission?
I have a question
Yes, sir.
regarding the boat ramp.
Yes, sir.
Is that on this property?
Yes, sir.
And who has access to it, and how would access be enforced? Obviously, it's not open to the public, I don't believe. You know,
Correct.
if I had a boat, I couldn't just go there and launch it.
Right. There are, and maybe Matt or Dave could help me out a little bit more, but the properties, this is like an unplatted subdivision here. The homeowners of this unplatted subdivision have access through a private easement given from a previous property owner to access that boat ramp. If that answers your question, did it?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
what I suspected. You know, I just
Yeah.
wanted to confirm that.
Yeah, it's not a public boat ramp. Not anybody could just drive on the property and use it. It's just specifically to them.
And all the easements in this area are private. There's no public easements, right?
Yes, sir. There's
No
actually
no public rights of way.
No, sir. Even Perkins Path itself is not a county maintained road. It's a private road. It actually goes through Mr. Dave's property here. It runs up straight through his property and then cuts to the boat ramp in Mr. Winger's property. So it's a private easement the whole way.
Thank you.
No problem. Thank you.
And just so you know, they do have the building plans. They were in the packet of materials, so
Okay.
they have those. Also.
Okay,
Thank you.
perfect. Thank you so much.
Any other questions?
Yeah, I have a question, Mr. Chair. When
Yes.
was this property purchased?
In 2011. 2011.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
You took the words right out of my mouth. Any other questions? Yes, Mr. Stone.
Let me be clear, you're asking for relief from the centerline requirements on an easement that's their own property. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this 30-foot easement is not a public easement. Well, what is it? It's an easement that the property owner has, at some time in the past, has given to other residents in the neighborhood to be able to use this boat ramp.
Correct, sir. My understanding is that this private easement was given to the property owners around here to use the boat ramp. But what I was told from the county is that because I think it's in the Land Development Code, Chapter 2, the first little table in there shows a public or private road has a 50-foot setback onto it. So I don't think that was ever the intention of the property owner that gave this easement. So I think they just wanted the drive itself, I think, is only about maybe 10 foot or 15 foot wide. And it goes maybe 5 feet from the property line. I think that was the intent of the easement all along. But with the Land Development Code, they told me that basically, yes, that's the easement, but because of the Land Development Code, you have a 50-foot setback, which is what restricts us to build the house that Mr. Winger is wanting to build.
Do we know the distance from the house to the middle of the 10-foot wide Lime Rock Drive?
Yes.
Boat ramp?
Can you give me 1 second? Here, I have it in here. So the distance from the property line to the house line is 38 feet. The distance from the middle of the road to the house line is about 24 feet.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Staff, please.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Joe Hockdale, Principal Planner. This application is requesting a reduced right-of-way setback on the subject property. Specifically, they are requesting a 22-foot setback from the center line of the right-of-way, which comes to roughly 7 feet from the edge of the right-of-way. The lot is about 2.5 acres in size, although you can see a good portion of the eastern property there is wetlands. So I tried to enhance the easements here a little bit. So this is North Perkins Path. It comes from Withlacoochee Trail all the way up to this point, cuts across, goes to the boat ramp here. I do believe this is the legal access for this parcel right there. And then I did verify that there is a private ingress-egress easement that runs along the north of the property here. Those properties to the north are addressed off of Perkins Path, so that's why you'll see in my presentation I refer to both of them as Perkins Path, basically. So here you can see Perkins Path. This is the developed portion on the south side of the property. And if you zoom in a little bit here, you can kind of see the width. There's the fence line for the adjacent parcel over there, and then here's the stake on that side. So while the right-of-way itself, the private easement, is 30 feet wide, you can see they predominantly use the south portion of it for access. And here you can see the right-of-way as it goes down to the boat ramp. The boat ramp is just over the crest of that hill there. There's a pretty good slope going down to that boat ramp. So here you can see the proposed single-family dwelling in relation to those two private right-of-ways. There is an existing 960 square foot mobile home that was placed on the property in 2009, and it does have a 400 square foot detached garage that was built in 2018. We did get confirmation, as Mr. DeMaria said, that the single-family dwelling there, the existing one, the mobile home, is proposed to be removed if this request is approved. So here you can zoom in a little bit and see the 30-foot wide easements. The easement down here is totally on their property. You know, sometimes you see them, they kind of straddle lot lines. This 30-foot easement is entirely on this parcel. And so with a roughly 37.5-foot setback from the property line, that makes it about 7 feet from the edge of that private easement for where they want to construct. And then again, you can see the same thing on this north side. They're just shy of 8 feet there, so it's about a 7-foot setback from the edge of the private right-of-way on the north side. The request for reduced right-of-way setbacks, when you look at it like this, if they took 50 feet from the center line of both of those private right-of-ways, they're going to end up with about a 20-foot buildable area in between those two roadways, which is pretty restrictive. However, if you go a little bit further to the west, where the 50-foot setback from this north side reverts to the 5-foot setback from a typical property line, it expands to about 50 feet in width. The whole thing is about 17,900 square feet of buildable area. If we get away from that 20-foot wide portion on the east side and we just go to the wider portion on the west side, it's roughly 13,700 square feet of buildable area. And as Mr. DeMaria had mentioned, there is this roadway here that connects the two. That was the one that was in the picture. I wasn't able to find a legal description for this portion here, so I'm not sure if this roadway actually follows any kind of legal access back to the back, but I was able to find legal description for the north portion, designating it as also a 30-foot wide ingress-egress easement, so public roadway. So with the available building envelope that they have, especially on the west side, this property could be reduced in size or relocated to better fit within that area. And so this is not a minimal request, and not all the findings are found to be positive.
Thank you. Any questions from the commissioners?
Joe, can you help me do some math real quick?
Sure.
Mr. Stone brought that up, and I had noticed that myself. It's a 30-foot easement on their own property, correct?
Yes.
And then the setback from that 30-foot easement currently is 7 feet,
Yes.
right? So if that easement was along the middle of the property line, which typically they are most times, right? Would we agree? I mean,
They can be, yes. That's
Yeah.
pretty common.
what would the setback be then? I'm just curious. It's 15, we're about 15 feet different?
So that'd be, yeah, it'd be a 15-foot difference, so that would be, what, 22 feet from the edge?
22 feet from the edge of the house, 35 feet to the center line,
Yeah.
roughly?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you, Joe.
Yep.
Public portion of the meeting, excuse me, will now be open. If there is anyone present in favor of the application who would like to speak, please come forward to the podium. As a reminder, individuals have 3 minutes to speak and organizations have 5 minutes. When speaking on this application, please address the board. If you have any documentation you want to be entered into the record, please provide a copy to the recording secretary. Is there anyone who would like to speak in favor of this application? Is there anyone who would like to speak in favor of this application? Is there anyone in favor of this application? Yes, please come forward and state your name.
David Blitch. I'm the property owner to the south of the depiction. I do support the application. Very few people use what is labeled here North Perkins Path. I don't believe that's an accurate depiction of what North Perkins Path should be. North Perkins Path, I don't know how to operate this thing.
It's the top button.
Okay, gotcha. As North Perkins Path here goes north from Withlacoochee Trail, as mentioned earlier, it really should continue across this parcel to give access to parcels up here. That's a private road, and that's how these people get access to their properties. I have no idea why this is called North Perkins Path up here. That doesn't go anywhere, doesn't serve any purpose. The bottom portion of North Perkins Path really does not need to be this wide, never is used that way. This is really a private driveway. And the people that are entitled to use the boat ramp, it's only about 5 properties, would still be able to make use of the boat ramp as they're used to if this is approved.
Thank you.
Any questions to me?
No, we're all set, I think.
Great, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak in favor of this application?
Hello, my name is Matthew Winger, and I just want to say thank you for hearing us today. And additionally, I just wanted to give a little bit of backstory on the property. I purchased it in 2011, and I was halfway through my military career when I bought this with the intention of retiring and coming here. I retired last year and began talks with the construction company to build, and me and my wife built the property the way we wanted it, and we're really excited to get moving on it, and kind of ran into this little issue that we weren't expecting just because of some history with easements and everything. But I do want to say that the neighborhood is close, knit community. There's 5 or 6 individuals. I think there's only 2 individuals that are currently living there full time. The rest come up and use it as a campground or vacation home. We work together to maintain the private road, Perkins Path. It's gotten washed out a few times. We've gone in on purchases together to purchase limestone and such to line out the road. We've worked on the boat ramp. It's all private maintained. We've gone in together and we've done like a riprap solution to some, bottoming out in the boat ramp. So I think that I could honestly say that anybody that knows me knows that they would be okay with this. We all work together on keeping this access open and operational for the entire community. So I do appreciate the time that you are allotting us to plead our case, and thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak in favor of this application? Anyone wishing to speak in opposition to the application? Anyone wishing to speak in opposition? Anyone to speak in opposition? Seeing none. The public portion of this hearing is now closed. I'd like to return it to the table for discussion regarding this application. Any comments from the commissioners?
President Joe, you mentioned something about these two houses to the south of the boat ramp. Is that their main access through the boat ramp?
It appears to be the main access. That portion of North Perkins Path appears to be their main access. Yes.
Right, these two houses down here.
Yes, sir.
Access there.
No. No more comments now, please. Thank you. Any other comments from the commission? I just have one for you, Joe. So you indicated that there's, I think you said around 17,000 square feet to the west that would be buildable space, correct?
The 17,000 you see there includes the 20-foot strip that runs through the middle in between.
Okay.
So if you look at just the wider portion on
Yep.
the west side, it's roughly 13,000 something.
Okay, 13,000. And the house is about 3,500 square feet or so, did I see?
Yes.
Okay, so there is quite a bit of buildable space versus the size of the home.
Yes.
Okay, thank you for clarifying that. Anyone else have questions or comments?
I'll just tell you that I'm in favor of the application. The Perkins Path it's a fairly non-used path. There's the opportunity for all of the neighbors anybody who would have had any objections, they were mailed, they're not here. We have one neighbor that's here that supports it. I don't think this is going to do, in the findings of fact, it's in harmony with the neighborhood. Three of the 8 were faults. So I'm in favor of this application as it's presented.
And Mr. Chairman, I would like to point out that I have some conditions ready. if the
Okay,
board
thank-
wants them.
Have you reviewed those with the applicant?
I have not, but they're pretty standard.
Okay, we'll get to those in just a second. Any other comments?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes,
as
Mr. Mayor.
most of you know that I do my best to do site visits on every application. I don't get to all of them. Initially, when I visited this site, I thought, oh my, I'm not going to do this, you know. But after hearing the presentation by the applicant, I am in favor of this, particularly because of the point that Commissioner Stone pointed out and others, that we're basically giving this variance on their own right, on their own property for right away that they granted to close neighbors. So I can support this application.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments?
Mr. Chair, I support the application also, and I'd like to hear the conditions.
Thank you, that was going to be next.
Yes, sir. So the conditions are: number 1, the single-family dwelling must maintain a 22-foot setback from the center line of North Perkins Path, as outlined on the site plan received by Land Development, date stamped December 22nd, 2021. Number 2, the existing manufactured home must be removed prior to certificate of occupancy of the single-family dwelling. And number 3, runoff and erosion control measures shall be installed to protect water bodies, wetlands, and/or adjacent properties from sediment transport before starting land disturbance activities as per Citrus County Code Section 42-172C.
You indicated that the family, or the trailer must be removed from the property. Didn't you state earlier there's also a garage or a barn on the site as well?
Yes, there is a detached garage that was permitted on that property, but with the placement of a new single-family dwelling, there's no reason they can't keep that.
They can't or cannot?
They can keep it, so they would have a primary use
Okay.
of the property with the new home, and so the existing accessory wouldn't be any kind of non-conformity or anything with the new home. So.
Okay. All right, thank you. Any other questions? Okay, seeing none, if I could have a Motion?
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
the Planning and Development Commission finds application number V-22-05 consistent with the Citrus County Land Development Code and is in keeping with the intent and policies, with the intent of the policies of the Citrus County Comprehensive Plan, and that this board approves with conditions that we just heard of the application based upon the evidence and testimony presented and the staff report and conclusions regarding this petition with the conditions we just heard. We gotta fix that.
Second.
We have a first from Commissioner Worthington and a second from Commissioner Bramlett. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Seeing none, motion passed. You're welcome. Seeing as we already moved on to other staff comments, I think we're all set unless any of the commissioners have any comments. Seeing none, motion to adjourn.
Thank you.
So moved.
Thank you.
Second. Aye.
Passed.
Good job, Mr. Chairman.